Well, good afternoon. This is Gary Sly. I've got a real special treat for you today. I'm visiting with an old friend and mentor whose name is Carole Kniepkamp. I say mentor because when I first started my shop, Carole was one of the first folks that showed up, and she gave me all kinds of good advice and helped me to figure out what to do when I went to Nashville. Do you remember that? We went over the map and the book and all that kind of fun stuff. So I wanted to come and visit with Carole. I'm actually planning probably to do 2 episodes. We're going to just kind of let you get to know Carole a little bit. And in the second episode, I want to talk about Hardanger because that's her pride and joy and something that she's loved for a long, long time. Carole, just tell this huge readership out here who wants to know you. Where did you grow up and where did you start stitching?
Woo! Born and raised in Western New York in Rochester. Was more a reader than anything else.
Right.
But my mother taught me to embroider, probably to keep me from talking so much.
Are you the oldest child?
I'm the oldest of 4.
And they're all girls, right?
We're all girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all girls. 2 more live within 20 minutes of me.
Yeah, I think I've met everybody somewhere along the way.
I think so.
Am I allowed to ask your age?
Yes, I'm 85. I'll be 86 in another month or so.
Okay, all right. Some folks don't want to be asked that. So your mother taught you just kind of basic embroidery?
Yeah.
Made sure you know how to sew a few things?
Yeah, she was more intent on me on the sewing machine. She was a good seamstress herself and made most of our clothes.
Okay.
So we did have a treadle machine.
Right.
And I loved that machine, and I would still love to sew on one. Except I always went too fast.
Well, I'm kind of scared of sewing machines because they go too fast. That's why I like handmade stuff.
Yeah.
I just, when I push that pedal, it takes off on me, so.
Yeah. I taught myself to crochet, and I taught myself to knit.
Right.
And then I got involved with Elizabeth Zimmerman, who was a knitter on TV years and years ago.
Sure.
And I got enamored of pattern knitting. And then I had a shop in Ruskin in Florida after I moved to Florida.
Really?
And at that time I was teaching toll and decorative painting. And a friend from church came in and said, "Carole, you've got to carry this in your shop." She was a military wife and she had done cross stitch out west somewhere. And I looked at it and I said, that'll never last.
And that was when it was just getting started.
That was in the early 70s.
Yeah.
In the 70s, yeah.
I've got a few patterns in the shop from the early 70s, but there wasn't much going out then.
No, Gloria and Pat, I think, were the designers at that time.
And you know, Pat just passed away last year.
I understand that.
Yeah,
yes.
She was living nearby. Wow. So you didn't think it was going to happen, and it didn't catch your attention?
No. And it wasn't, I don't know, I think it was a little shop in Lynchburg. I was going for
I've been there.
Treatments.
You know, I told you I lived near there.
Yes.
I used to go to that shop all the time.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but
I was going for treatments at Virginia Baptist Hospital.
Right.
And on my way I would stop at that little shop. And
was her name Joyce?
I'm sorry?
Do you remember if her name was Joyce?
No, I don't.
I think that's who it was.
That would have been in 94.
Well, I lived there 84 to 88.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably the same shop. There couldn't have been 2 in Lynchburg.
Not in Lynchburg. Not in Lynchburg. It was a lovely little shop, and I think she sold me my first gold needle. which I never liked.
Sure.
I did not like gold needles, never have, never will.
So what's your needle of choice?
My needle of choice, Peacemakers has always been my needle of choice, but
Clover?
No. Yeah, the designer that sells needles.
It'll pop in your head.
Yeah, one of these days. That's what happens when you're 85. So,
yeah, you're doing pretty well. Don't worry about that.
But I started stitching then, and Ralph and I had just gotten married, and so I had to teach him to stitch in order to keep him awake while I was cleaning up after dinner. I taught him to stitch. Needless to say he probably got more stitching done than I ever did.
Really?
But
so you didn't stick with cross stitch. You went on to other things.
I stayed with cross stitch until we opened the shop. And let's just say I've got a lot of gonna do's.
Right.
My sister Karen, that some people will remember from when we first opened the shop, was with us, and she says, I got wanna do's,
right,
got gonna do's, got half dids, and what my current passion is.
Exactly.
And my current passion tended to move around a lot.
Right.
So I do have a Mount Melick embroidery kit.
Wow.
I have, and I took a class in Ireland, I have a Kniepkamp kit. Of course, I can't see them anymore, but I have these kits ready to stitch.
Wow. And what's the second one?
Kniepkamp.
And is that Ireland?
It is Northern Ireland.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it's done on a base of nylon net with tulle put over it, and you embroider around the tulle and then cut away.
I think you showed me that one time. Yeah.
Probably.
Wow.
So yeah, I sort of get waylaid.
That's perfectly okay.
But I've enjoyed
People will understand getting waylaid. I talk to people in the shop all the time who say, I've just got to finish everything I'm working on before I buy something new. And of course, as a shop owner, I don't like that idea. But as a stitcher, I don't like that idea. Who can do that?
No.
It just never has made sense to me.
No. I might want to pick this up today, but tomorrow something else.
Exactly. Creativity is a mood thing.
Yeah. And I still knit. I can't see it, but I can feel it.
Sure.
Sure.
That's excellent. You have macular degeneration, so you've lost the center part of your vision, but you can see to get around.
Yeah, I have good peripheral vision. I get around. I can't drive. I can't stitch. I can't read.
Right.
But I have aids.
Cool. Now you had a shop in Ruskin?
I had a hobby shop in Ruskin. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Where I did different crafts and taught toll and decorative painting. I taught painting with a 1-inch brush, which was long ago.
Cool.
But then I had people in town who knitted or crocheted, and I had baby things, and so I sold their pieces in my shop too.
Nice.
It was called the Discovery Shop.
Fun.
So
a little bit of everything.
A little bit.
That's kind of the way my shop is.
Yeah.
I know it drives some people crazy, but I never have been able to kind of settle on one thing.
Are you still weaving?
Yes. I got a warp ready to go on the loom right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you finally learn how to do bobbin lace?
Somebody gave me a real cushion rather than that terrible old antique thing I have.
Yeah.
But that's one I haven't started yet.
Okay, I know it's
there.
It's
on the to-do list, though, not on the want-to-do list. It's definitely on the to-do list.
Yeah, I get you. Been there.
So then, when you first started talking to me, you and your sister Claire had a shop in Mount Dora for a while.
Yeah, we had the Discovery Shop, which, according to our vendors, was the largest as far as well-supplied shop in the South.
Wow.
Wow. We started out in a little building on 5th Avenue on the main drag in Mount Dora and outgrew it.
Now what was that called?
Dream Stitchers.
Right. Okay.
And we came up with that name on the way home from Spirit of Cross Stitch one year.
And you know, when I first opened my shop, I had some patterns that had Dream Stitchers on them
Oh
still.
my gosh.
So you know how things kind of pass around and make their way back again.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, you had some pretty stuff. Now, I don't think I ever got in there. I was at Ermine's shop, the drawer,
Oh, yeah.
over in Mount Dora, but I never got to yours. When did you close that shop?
We were open for about 8 years, so probably 2004 or 2006.
Right.
I had brain surgery and had trouble driving and stuff at the time. And then it just got to a point where Claire was still working full time.
Sure.
And it got to a point where it was very successful.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about
And
that.
we had just gone to Barcodes, and
That stuff scares me. I'm still doing it the old-fashioned way.
it just got too slow. I just had
Yeah.
such a wide range of
Sure.
fiber. I'm a fiber nut.
Mhm.
I couldn't stand a new fiber without having it.
Sure.
Um,
Have you seen the DMC Floche? Speaking
no,
of
I
new
have
stuff?
not. When they came out with the multicolored number 5 Pro cotton, I was
Right.
surprised.
Right, sure. I was in a shop up in Michigan, I think last year, and got some of the Floche. Just got a couple
you?
of samples. Now, do I remember that you have an engineering background?
Yes, I'm an industrial engineer.
And you have a degree in engineering?
Yes.
Do you think there's some connection between engineering and all this stuff, this intricate kind of stuff you like to do with stitching?
Yeah, in the olden days,
That's
the olden days, they called us efficiency experts. We just did time studies and
Sure.
found ways to do things better. And I think taking something from a chart and putting it on a piece of counted fabric
Right.
or patterned fabric or whatever, I think there is a correlation. And what I have found in teaching is that men seem to make this connection better than women, and I probably shouldn't say that, but
Well, I mean, men and women do learn and kind of perceive things differently.
Yeah.
That
Women
doesn't
are-
mean one's better than the other.
women are better at changing colors. They would come in and say, "Ooh, this is really pretty, but
Yeah.
I don't like these colors. Can you change the colors?"
Men
So I
learn to
would-
follow the
I would-
rules.
Men take the pattern and do it. If it's not on that pattern, they don't do it.
Now, I have a sense that men like bigger stuff. Is that, have you noticed that? Or?
Well, if you will look on the wall, those two pieces are my husband's pieces.
Okay.
And anybody that's been to Brick City Cross Stitch, or even in our shop, any of the big pieces he did.
Did he do the cranes? Do you remember
yes.
that?
He did the Sandhill cranes. Mhm.
Well, I'll take some pictures of Ralph's work here, and I'll put them at the end of this video so that people will know what we're talking about.
Yeah, because the only thing that we've got of mine is here.
Okay.
And that's it.
Well, I'll take a few pictures before we go so people will know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody today who wanted to start a shop?
That wanted to start a shop. If you think that you'll be able to do what you love and run a shop, don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, okay.
I
That's
would-
where I thought you were going with that.
No. Because if you run a successful shop, you have to concentrate on business.
Okay.
You have to look at your cash flow. How much can I order today? How much can I order? Let's see, we only did this much in sales last week, so if I'm going to pay the bills,
Yeah.
you've got to pay attention to your customers. You got to see what they want.
Right.
Not what you want. And what I've found, so many shop owners carry what they want, which is why I left my craft shop in Ruskin, because my mother helped me and she ordered everything she liked, which didn't sell.
I think I remember you telling me when I first went to market to buy things, not to just buy things that I like.
Yes.
I think I remember that advice, and I've remembered that. It's hard.
You have to pay attention to what your customers want.
Yeah.
I am a fiber nut. I like every Rainbow Gallery fiber. I love every Kieran fiber.
Sure.
I like
Sure.
every overdyed fabric. I particularly love silk fibers, and there's a dozen different kinds of silk fibers.
Yeah.
But my customers didn't like them as well as I did.
Yeah, I don't stock much silk because it's so expensive and it's hard to find a market for them up here.
Yes.
If you were maybe in a big city where you had a lot of foot traffic, you might could do silk.
If I'm in a shop somewhere, well, not now, but if I'm in a shop somewhere and I see something that catches my eye, silk, or even I bought some of your yarn.
Oh, I know. I was just going to say, even when you were kind of getting to the point where you weren't doing any more stitching, you and a couple sisters would come in the shop and we'd look up and Carole would be off somewhere stuffing things in a bag so that she could buy things. And the other sisters are going, now, Carole, do you really want that? Do you really need that? And you were getting it anyway.
Yep.
So.
Need doesn't have anything to do with it.
Absolutely. Well, I want you to,
And what I need to say is, do it now. Do it now.
Yeah.
Don't wait.
Right.
We moved into assisted living.
Yeah.
And I was going to have all this time because I didn't have to cook.
Sure.
I didn't have to clean. Wow.
Yeah.
No yard work. I'm going to have all this time. Well, by the time I got furniture settled and everything settled, my eyesight went.
Right.
So guess what?
And then you've had some health issues. You've been quite a battler through the years when it comes to some of your health issues. So.
I'm on my fourth battle with cancer.
Well, you certainly don't look like it today. You look like you've beaten this one pretty well so far.
I've had a few tough infusions, but
yeah, you mentioned brain surgery just kind of casually there as part of things. Yeah. That okay.
But this is my fourth cancer, and the lymph nodes are clear.
Right.
And we're just waiting for the tumor to be gone.
Well, we're celebrating where you can so
Thank you.
far.
The Lord is good to me. He's blessed me, dear, so much.
Wonderful. We're going to stop now, I think. Stay tuned, though. I think I'm going to do a second episode with Carole because her big love, as far as I've been in contact with, is Hardanger. So we're going to stop a little bit. We'll come back another time and let you hear some more from Carole. As always, this is Gary Sly, and that's the Legacy of Handmade Objects. Thanks for watching.